because two people that we so long overdue. Byron Moten, most sports talk. We so long overdue, man. Why? Why?
I mean, first off, we're busy.
We are.
You know what I'm saying? We're busy. Life is lifing, and I think that's the reason why we've both been long overdue for this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I know that you guys work all the time.
For sure.
And I just feel like, look, it's gonna have to be a moment in time where we meet up, and just so happens yesterday.
Definitely.
And I was looking, I was like, yo, I'm like, I love the fact of. That's another shirt, by the way. I want the other one that you had on yesterday.
For sure.
But I was like, oh my God, we got to do this. We got to do this. So yes, long overdue. Life be lifing. Sports is sporting.
Sports is sporting.
Sports is sporting.
And if it don't pull you one way, it's gonna pull you another way, and we adapt whichever way it's taking us.
Most definitely, man.
And while you're here, Byron, man, just tell everybody about yourself, what you do. You know, me and you talk just here and there on Facebook very briefly. But we see each other's work and we respect what both of us do. But just tell our audience that's watching us right now what you do and what you're doing.
Well, pretty much I started my podcast, Most Sports Talk, back in 2011, 2012, covering pretty much all the major sports here in DFW. I mean, it was a rough little start, but once I got together, once content started coming out, started doing big things, started getting my contacts together, then it went up to the Texas Legends.
Yeah.
From the Texas Legends, it was the Dallas Mavericks. From the Mavericks, it's the Texas Rangers. From the Texas Rangers, it was the Dallas Stars. And so just building my way up, me and my guys getting our content together, you know, talking about sports. I mean, of course, we love the local teams here, but also at the same time, we try to branch out to all teams, all sports. I mean, hey, man, you'll catch us randomly talking about, you know what I'm saying, celebrity bowling, women's college bowling, you know what I'm saying, golf. Like whatever sports it is, dodgeball. It might be a cornhole segment coming soon.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell me how y'all collectively are able to cover all of these sports with such detail that y'all do. Because even, you know, having to cover a sport means you have to know so much about all that stuff. And even and I don't mind saying it, with SOS, we're more just glued to just a couple of them. And even though we kind of have more of that production thing going on, but with most sports talk, you guys are actually able to make a staple. Again, you just named all of them, Rangers, Legends, all of those things. Like, how y'all able to do all of that?
It's having a great team. Yeah. I mean, having guys around you that's very knowledgeable and willing to do work and do, you know what I'm saying, research. Yeah. And I always had this thing called research and development. And I always have like this big attendance theory. Like if you're ready, if you're there to show up, you're ready to roll. And so I have my co-host, my brother. You met my brother Don, by the way. He's not a Cowboys fan. He's an Eagles fan. You know what I'm saying? And so I had another co-host, Dave. You know, Lakers fan. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We already know who Hendo is. You know, Hendo is all local teams. And so we try to branch out and try to talk about things that really catches our eye. Yeah. And, of course, we talk sports all the time, but we always still branch out to, like, sneakers, movies, video games. You know what I'm saying? Random things that happen in life. Like, right now, if we're both watching, let's just say randomly we're watching, like a dodgeball tournament or like horse racing. We're gonna put some commentary on that. It's gonna be funny as hell, but at the same time, it's like it's all about having fun. And what I always told myself, and I tell everybody else, never let it get to a situation where it's a job.
For sure.
Make sure that it's a hobby. Make sure it's something that you really invest yourself into. Y'all been doing this for some years, man, and that's what I love about it. Like, you're not giving up. Of course, things outside of the podcast happens.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So you may have to take a hiatus. You may have to take care of personal feelings of, like, you know, it's like with me, you know, going through the boards, going through getting my kids in order, going through things financially and mentally. So when things get tough like that, still having a good backbone of a support system around you.
I think people need to know that, you know, and folks, this ain't even necessarily an interview. This is just two sports people talking right now. That's what's happening. Like, you go through so much in your individual life, and that's my guy, Fernando, right there, one of my tech directors.
Nice, I like
One thing that I do is I always try to alleviate their own personal space before SOS, because this is my vision at the end of the day. And my dad taught me one thing. He said, now, understand that they did tell you yes when it came to joining your team, but as a leader, It's saying, like, at the end of the day, I am the one who has to ensure that this gets to where it needs to go.
Thanks.
Byron is the one that needs to ensure that most sports are given. Now, we got a team. Awesome. We got some guys that can do some things that we can't do anymore or just don't bother to do anymore, and any of those. But we are the saying, hey, we're getting from point A to point B to point C to point D, you know, with what the head is doing. But also at the same time, you know, we have all these people on our team that we need to make sure, hey, are you guys comfortable on this journey? Are you guys okay on this trip? Does anybody need that space? And I tell them all the time, before people join my team, I say, if your personal life, it starts to, you know, things arise, like, let me know. That's why we've done the things to amass a team, so somebody else can kind of take your place for a while. You need to step back for a moment, do so. You know what I'm saying? Because all that stuff is so important, and because we all got to answer to our personal lives sometimes. It can't just be, you know, even work or just a hobby or whatever the case is, like all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? And everybody says, oh, you want to get in this thing where you eat, breathing, and sleeping. Yeah, times are changing, though.
But
life is a little harder.
I love that because that's the same kind of mindset that you gotta have.
For sure.
Of course, when you're going through this type of like business as far as like podcasting and getting your team on, you also have to realize, you know, your team has other stuff going on too. You may need to take a hiatus. You may need to have things that's going on. And also, I love the fact, like, look, is your personal life good? I'm going to always ask that all the time. Is your personal life good? Because not only if you're going to join my team, I consider you as family as well. Yeah. Everybody goes through stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And just like you're going to be there for me for doing this, I want to make sure that I'm there for you. If you need time to work on yourself and things that you need to do, by all means, go ahead. But at the same time, you're going to go through, like, because I had interns before, too.
Yeah.
And so I had interns before where it gets to a situation where they're all yes men at first.
Of course.
But you always got to realize it's going to be some work that's going to be done to get to this situation. Once I graduated broadcasting school, do you know I had 3 internships in a row?
Wow.
Like back to back to back with the local sports stations here.
Okay.
Except the one where I was at the ticket back in 2006, 2007. I'm not trying to tell my age.
No worries.
But and this before my son was born.
Okay.
but you know, just going through like the promo crew and, you know, driving the ticket truck, you know, getting knowledge and wisdom from the host, which meeting the host there, from leaving that to when it was 103.3 FM ESPN.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Doing stuff with that promo team to 105.3 The Fan, which I give them a lot of credit because every host on that block that they have right now, I know them personally.
And shout out, and I can attest to that. At least one group. Shout out to the morning team, Sean and RJ, and formerly Roy White at the time. Roy's a good friend of mine. I had the chance to shadow behind him. I used to have to get up in my early days of really getting into the broadcast. I used to have to get up at like 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. I would be late getting to the building after I was 75. And then he had to come down like probably in the middle of the show and come get me in and rush back up to the front. But and what I do want you to talk about, Mo, is that grind. What really goes into not only just the podcast, but sports and being present for everything in general, because being present is the only way for you to take the natural steps to go forward. And that's just for anybody that's trying to be in media.
Well, as far as like the grind goes, because I felt like whatever I get my degree and my certification from, I'm not going to let that go to waste. Yeah. First off top. There's too much money involved, too much stuff to be, you know what I'm saying, putting yourself into it. And so once I started doing that, once I started getting myself out there, getting my feet wet, I already did the internships. I was already trying to gain my resume up. So having that frustration of doing internships 3 times in a row and not getting the actual job because somebody that you intern with, I already know somebody in the business, so they're already good. So once you get that frustration off, that grind right there, I'm like, you know what, I'm finna start my own thing. Let me see how that goes. Yeah. So once that start going, and then having good people around you, that support system, getting good feedback, you're not going to always get good feedback. You're going to get a lot of no's before the yes. But as long as you have that mindset of getting that grind in, and I tell people, always think about the outcome.
Yes.
I always think about that because the next person will always going to maybe grind harder than you, may not came from the same background as you. But so working, doing the podcast, being married at the time, having children, as long as you had that in your mindset like, hey, I got a good support system here, Like, at the point, we was everywhere, promoting, doing our own things, you know what I'm saying, had a good backbone, have a good system, but just seeing the reactions and the smiles of, like, fans, gaining, like social media really helps a lot. And, like, having fans that want to meet you, willing to give you advice, knowing people now personally that, you know what I'm saying, that I've met that do more than your own family, than your own friends that grew up with you, just by seeing just support like that, that makes you grind even more. And just like now when I have my hiatus, just seeing people just hit me up like, hey, are you okay? Is everything good? When you gonna get things started back up? Once you get those reactions of getting your stuff started back up, there was no way that grind would never stop, because now that you built on that foundation of people recognize you, people know you. Like my kids, every time I go somewhere, even like yesterday, you know what I'm saying, when we had met, you know, the first thing my son said, he was like, Daddy, here we go again, y'all running into people that you know. I'm like, dude, you got to realize, like...
That's what you built for this.
That's what you built for this, but at the same time, you're glad that you know them.
Yeah.
Because you see them doing things like you having this table right here, having this right here, camera crew, things in the background. I love this.
Thank you.
This is fantastic. And I'm always willing to just give props to people that I know that almost cursed, that I know that works.
And let's go ahead and say it. We know in sports league. This is home. This is home. The Shield. I call it the Shield, but this is home. Be you. Say what you want to say. If we got to edit and post, we'll do it. and just to attest to what you were saying about everything that goes into it. Well, I almost stopped doing SOS by like year 3-ish. Okay. And I know that, you know, they say year 3 is for like business and everything. It's that telling year, but it was it may have been 2020 or 19, one of the two. Mm-hmm. And I told myself and this is just me as a youngin', just at that time I was getting up in age. And I'm like, man, I wanted to have SOS at this certain point by the end of the year. And I began to say, if I didn't have it to this certain point at the end of the year, if I didn't figure out how to make money from what I was doing, I would stop. Because to me, I thought I could probably be doing something else. I could probably be working for this other news station by now. My team, like I'm pulling them every which way, and it's not them. It just began to be me. And the thought of it all just kind of started deteriorating. And it was my cousins. When I told them once, and they said, Tony, listen, you've been doing this for I don't know how long now. Mm-hmm. And everything that you've been doing is gonna go to waste. And what they said was, they said somebody, and it could be on your own team, is gonna pick up your idea, and tomorrow they're gonna be up there. Exactly. And all they're gonna do is look back and say, well, I appreciate Tony because I got the idea from him, but you'll get none of it. And all that. And I said, and then the next thing they said, if you quit, we're gonna disown you. We ain't gonna talk to you no more. Right. That's how it is. And I was like, all right, man. And that gave me but right after that, my team, I think COVID hit, and my team began to actually grow, despite COVID being a thing. At the time, I was under Danny Martin and his esports community, Geek Leagues at the time, Exposure, and I was using his space. But COVID was hitting, and I noticed like people were still trying to get in SOS, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And then 2 people coming in, just 5 more people tried to come in and to join the team, and I'm like, wow. This is after my cousins, they told me, had that conversation with me, like, don't give everything that you've been doing and the time that you put in, don't give that up, because you'll be missing something later on down the road. And I'm so glad now that I never did that, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here talking to you, Mo. You probably wondered, man, what happened to SOS? And then it's crazy that I would have been a hypocrite to myself, because I told my team in year 1, I only had 3 or 4 of us. I said, let's not be a bunch of, and I use a different word for it, right, black folks. Mm-hmm. Let's not be a bunch of black folks that had an idea, and then 1 year from now, we're looking back saying, oh, remember when we did SOS? That was cool. I said, no, if I'm doing this, we're doing it. And I'm doing this until the wheels fall off, or somebody comes to me and say, Tony, you're not good at this. That's the only way I'm stopping at this point now. And so, like, I've learned that, throughout the years, so, like, really having that just a mentality, like, even in the bad moments, you got to get it.
Don't worry about them bad moments.
Yeah.
Look, Tony, I'm going to tell you like this. After that year 3, I'm glad that you didn't stop. Because, like I said, it's always going to take somebody that's going to tell you, hey, you better...
slap in the face.
Yeah, they're going to slap you in the face, but they're going to do it verbally before they hit you,
For sure.
like physically. And so it's a dog-eat-dog world right now. And so now you see people now creating podcasts and doing stuff that we already done. You know what I'm saying? And so you may have an idea, but now all of a sudden they're not going to tell you that they got it from you. They're going to all of a sudden be just try to do it. And I'm glad that you stick with it, because somebody would have been stealing your idea and did it, they would have gave you props. That's why I say it's a dog-eat-dog world. So you continue to keep on going, because trust me, there was plenty of times where I had like moments like, oh man, I'm going through this, you know, this is happening, you know, death in the family, you know, like anything that happens, and you always feel like, oh man, is this the reason why this is happening? Is this the reason why this is going on?
And there was a bit of a full circle moment for me in 21. I got 2 shout outs. I'm going to make the second one in a bit when we move into another part of the conversation. Shout out Wilson Chaney and Unfiltered Sports Media. When he created his whole company thing, his business deal in 2021, he called me, and I was out of town in D.C. On vacation. He said, man, I'm calling you because I just wanted to get some tips and stuff of what I need to do. But he said, I also want you to know that I started this because of what I saw you doing. And I was like, man, I said, listen to me, bro. Do it better than what I'm doing right now. I said that if you need help, you need the tips or whatever you need, let me know. Because I hope that you figure out something that I may be trying to figure out right now. And then when you do it, I'm going to learn how you did that. And I'm going to be able to say, hey, Wilson, what did you do? And then you're going to be able to teach me something, and I can teach the next person, and we just help each other. But then let me know that's why you stay in it, because somebody's going to say, man, I don't have to work for the ESPNs. I don't have to work for the NFL networks. I can start my own SOS or I can start my own podcast or whatever that is, and then take it, and then I control the camera. That's the biggest important thing.
There it
Control
is.
the camera.
And so you mentioning like ESPN, of course, now with Fox Sports 1.
Yeah.
Now you see where, you know, they had those recent layoffs.
Yep.
And I kind of like, when I saw that, because it was like 20 people. Big name people was in that
Big name
mix.
people to sign. That's never happened with them. Well, at least a long time ago.
Exactly. And so I'm telling myself, what if I was there and building myself all the way up for that to be my goal, right? And then all of a sudden you get that email,
and
you in that meeting with layoffs.
Yeah.
That right there was like, you know what? I should have just stuck to my game plan like I've been doing like now. Because that was my goal. But also, look, I'm telling y'all like this in the camera, do not feel like you got to dumb yourself down to get to where you need to get. Negativity brings ratings, it brings exposure with those networks.
Yeah.
Totally get it. But also at the same time, it's like, is this where I really need to be? Because you're going to get that same backlash from all that negativity and stuff like that every single day. Meeting those hosts personally, talking to them at Mavericks games, and just seeing them personally telling me, hey, this is what pays the bills. You know what I'm saying? Like,
y'all heard it firsthand.
Like those hosts that you see on ESPN, on Fox Sports 1, I'm telling you right now, those are the most intelligent, smart people that you will most definitely run into. Don't let them being on camera fool you like that.
We got to do what the network says. We got our pre-production meetings. They say, hey, the viewership is like the Cowboys.
That's
or
what I'm
LeBron,
saying. Cowboys,
or whatever
LeBron.
nonsense is in the media today. That's what we go with. Here's our narrative.
Exactly.
But that doesn't take away from the individual themselves that have to sit down and do what they have to do on TV. Unlike us, who have our own stuff and we get to come and be real, raw, and uncut with y'all. You know, they got to meet. The networks have to meet the standards.
Exactly.
So, you know, I get that.
And that's what it all is all about. Your creative control is gone.
Yeah.
That's why when you see hosts now, they're going to start doing their own podcast. For example, Stephen A. Smith, met him. Very incredible guy. A lot of people hate his fucking guts.
Of course.
But also at the same time, you got to realize what pays the bills. That's why he's the highest paid person there on ESPN.
Yes, sir.
Other hosts are like that also, too. But you got to realize, look, man, we got bills to pay. We're on a major network. We got to talk about this. 9 times, like, I'm going to say 10 times out of 10, they don't feel like talking about that shit all the time.
Yeah.
But they know they got to, hey, here's a production meeting, here's the topic. They got to do what they got to do. But that's why you see them creating podcasts outside of that so they can talk about what they really want to talk about.
And I've always been a fan of Stephen A.'s own podcast at the time than him being on, like, First Take, because I felt like at that time he was being more Yeah,
It's him.
here's the stats, here's the breakdown, here's how I really feel about it, and then people will call in and he's more natural than having to be on TV and you doing as your producers and execs or having you and asking you to do. So right now, Byron, we got to do this.
Let's go.
We got to toss some sports.
Let's go.
My second shout out goes to my guy Reggie French.
Reg, what's up, boy?
Who's the reason why we knew each other.
Reg.
And he's going to probably kill and strangle us once he knows that we did this and he was nowhere near or around for this to happen. Reggie, I know you're out there. Excuse my French. We love you, man. Definitely appreciate making this connection. Let's talk some sports, man. Now, you are around. You are around. So I'm going to go off where my knowledge is. I'm going to talk a little basketball with you, with the Mavs.
Okay.
Obviously, you've been close. You've been seeing what they've been doing, the changes they've been making, the draft that has come and go. Where is this team now? They signed Kyrie Irving to a nice deal, 3 years. They got some more guys coming in. I still think we kind of need a big. I know they was trying to put the offer sheets out there, and they lost on some guys, most notably the guy from the Trailblazers.
Yes.
Yes. Where is this team now? Are they better than they were last? Because we took a significant drop off from being in the Western Conference Finals to not even making the playoffs. So where are the Mavericks now, man? Where are you seeing them?
Okay, let's start with the drop off first, Tony. So people really have to realize when you make a big trade like that, you can't realize, because like there was 4th or 5th in the West before that trade happened.
Yes.
And so once that trade happened, you got to realize when you gut your team like that for a superstar player, it is what it is. And so you're getting Kyrie Irving, which he was a rental at the time. Yeah. But you got to realize you let go your best wing defender on the roster.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He went to Brooklyn. You also lost Spencer Dinwiddie, so you lost another scorer. Like
was this a long-term, like a long-game move?
Yes.
Okay.
Like you had to realize, like, it was a long-term move because just like with Kristaps, of course that didn't work out.
No, unfortunately.
Because he was a part-time player. He's super fragile. You know, it is what it is. So of course, when Luka makes deals like that, that's his partner. Yeah. But you got to realize getting your partners on the team ain't always going to be successful, especially if you know you're hurt. So with the Kyrie thing, like once they got to a certain aspect of where they were in the season, they was like, okay, cool. They don't want to call it tanking. They don't want to do. I mean, but like you sitting down 8 players, bro. Like, come on, like we're not crazy. And so once I realized what they started doing, I was like, okay, they're gonna try to get a top 10 pick. I'm like, okay, cool. They got Kyrie over here. Kyrie was always number 1 once they made that trade to re-sign him.
For sure.
So of course you can't talk about it so much because it's tampering, and plus also towards the fact of Luka wanted him here too. You got to realize he pulls the triggers on every single thing now. And so once the offseason got here, and I telling people, wait till after the draft. Please wait till after the draft before y'all start dealing with Kyrie, because there's a certain timetable you got to do shit.
Yeah.
And so once they did what they did at the draft and they traded down, I was like, okay, I kind of see what they're doing now. The V's Bertans contract, it had to go.
Yeah.
So that's 22 million that you got back. And also trading down, and you also getting someone that you actually need to build up. What I liked about this trade is now they're starting to realize you got to develop these players in the G League, because they weren't doing that. Tony, when I tell you they weren't doing that, look at my face. They weren't doing that. Right. And so now that you see they keeping Jaden Hardy, now that you see that,
I'm noticing that now.
You know what I'm saying, that they're developing young players, you know, so you're keeping Josh Green around still. He's here. One thing that I know is about Josh Green not being traded, and you seen Dorian Finney-Smith being gone, when you had a stretch of Luka was hurt and they had a road trip and they played Golden State, Josh Green had the game he had. Jaden Harden had the game that he had. I think that would really pull the trigger for them, like, hey, we got to keep these young dudes around and kind of start young still. Go back to that. Because we seen how they draft players, what they do. Send them to the G League. You never heard from them again. They go to another team. So them getting Derek Lively, I liked it simply because you're still going young, number 1. Mm-hmm. Number 2, he's a 7-footer. Number 3, he plays defense and he rebounds and he's a good pick and roll guy. You got to realize that's what the era of these basketball teams are now. You getting guys that can guard all types of positions, and he's young. So once they did that, I understand what they was doing now. So they Because the draft pick was either going to be they're going to trade for a superstar or they're going to trade down and get somebody young with a player on a roster that they need. So once they did that, I'm like, okay, cool. I realize what they're doing now. Right after that happened, what happened? They re-signed Kyrie back. And so what's so smart about this, y'all, when Kyrie's extension is up, that's towards the same time Luka's contract extension is going to be coming to a close.
So two-part question for this. How do you foresee that shaking out once both contracts are kind of up? Obviously, the goal may be to try to retain Luka because he's the one. But how do we make Kyrie and Luka work now? Now that we get an off season, they get time. How do we make this work?
You got to put what's better around them. They didn't have time last year to get stuff.
Yeah, and everybody was bagging on them really
just
hard
bagging.
about
I'm
that.
like, dog, you got to realize, dude, the whole team is gone. They haven't had a full season to just work shit out. Now they got a full off season to work out. You see Luka's working out. You see Kyrie getting his stuff together here in Dallas. So now it comes to now once they're going to be there for a couple of more years together, it's time to put this squad together.
Right.
It's time to get things going. They did go after DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
But
They tried.
They didn't want JaVale McGee in the deal. That's fine. They did go after, the guy that was trying to get in Portland. But that's the gift and the curse of restricted free agents.
I wanted to try to make that push for Siakam. Was that not doable?
It was, but for some reason, those conversations were just going downhill. And I was like, what the hell is going on with that? Because I felt like that would have been great.
I would have
because that would have been a great replacement for Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yes.
And I felt like, okay, cool, we got somebody. But like with them drafting Omax also too in the draft, because they made another trade, they got another first round pick. They got Omax. To me, seeing Lively, I get it, but I think Omax is gonna be so good here. So good here. And his defense right now in Summer League is showing that. That dude is balling, man.
Really good.
And so but right now what they're doing, they're building a roster around them. Another thing I got to tell people to realize, look, just because it's not a big name doesn't mean it's going to work on the team.
Yeah.
Once you get a guy and get guys around and they know their roles with their roster, know their roles with their head coach, then you got to, look, that's how it was when they went to the conference finals.
Because we've gotten lost in the super team soup.
And that's how everybody reacted. Oh, we got to get this player. We got to get this player to match up. I'm like, dog, do you know, this, but like Phoenix right now, with them making the moves that they made, and see, that's what I'm saying. You did all of that. Your head, Monty Williams is gone.
Right.
And now you got a coach, Frank Vogel. Now he got to deal with all three egos with that.
And I said that when they traded for KD, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
They're still going to go to the same point in the playoffs, and they're going to lose.
That's what I'm saying. And I agree with you with that. I'm like, okay, them getting KD, okay, and? Okay, so what is that supposed to, like, that's not going to scare anybody because you got to realize the team around those guys. Mm-hmm. If that team around those guys don't get shit done around them, they gone. Just like right now, when Phoenix made that trade, all their bench is gone.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying?
All it takes is for one of them to be off of their game.
Well,
and the whole.
I mean, you got Bradley Beal, cool, but you.
what now? What? Like just bad defensively.
Like it's hilarious. You have like no bench. So now you got to deal with that. I don't know what you're going to piece together. But back to the Mavericks, it's like, look.
Yeah, speak.
Let them cook. Let them cook with this roster.
And speak about what happens when the contract's up as far as with Kyrie and Luka. Where do they go after that? So is this our window moment now?
The window, just because they're playing together right now, don't mean their window is wide open. You still got a couple of seasons to get this done, to get this together. Yeah. And so, like, right now, to be honest with you, this team is not it right now.
No, they're not ready.
Let them cook. We still got some more months to go with this offseason. And I know the Mavs aren't done.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell people that, like, because people hit me up, hey, what's going on? Well, they're going to do this. I'm like, they're not done. Don't rush me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you're rushing them. Another thing that I like about this, too, is Nico. Yeah. It's not Cuban.
He's doing what he said.
It's Nico, and it's Michael Finley. Mm-hmm. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Even when I went to the draft party, we seeing Cuban there. Cuban ain't running the show. That's what I like about Cuban. He's letting Nico, you know what I'm saying, because there was too many chefs in the kitchen already as it is. And so you got to realize now, with those two at the dinner table right now,
getting things done, let Nico stand in front of these players.
Let Nico stand in front of these players and say it, man. And so that's what I like about it. He's letting the GM do that. Cuban can go off and do what he needs to do. He ain't got to worry about that. The roster is going to form, okay? And I think right now, they're still going to go after a big. They're still going to go after, 3-and-D guys. But you got to realize, don't let these names just throw you off in the loop like that.
Yeah.
Let them make the roster. Let them get on this squad, and let them realize what roles that they have. Once they get the roles that they know that they have, it's 82 games in the season, dog. We're not going to the playoffs in 5-6 games.
This ain't football,
come on,
man.
this ain't football, bro. They got time to make this shit develop. And so don't worry about what position they are in the playoffs. Yeah. Let them make the playoffs. Let them do what they have to do, because just think when they went to the Western Conference Finals, nobody picked them to go this far.
No.
Once they got to Utah, it was a matchup problem for them. That was all the parts that was working. That's what I'm saying. Like, once they passed that, everything was working. Of course, you run to Golden State, that's Golden State. It is what it is with that. But now with them developing to start over, and they're young,
yes,
they are freaking young. That's what I like about this more. They're young. The only vet that you got is Kyrie, but he's still a top 10, top 15 player in this league. So he's going to make things happen. Piece together what they want to piece around with them. Listen to your players.
Yes.
Listen to Luka. Listen to Kyrie. Because I tell you right this, Kyrie's a great recruiter too. He's a great recruiter. You also got Nico that worked with Nike. You think his Rolodex, I say Rolodex, that just says how old I am. You think his Rolodex ain't filled with cats? Like,
he got the guys.
Yeah, he got some guys.
It's just a matter of time.
They're going to be okay. I feel like right now with the roster that they have, I still feel like it's not enough. But I'm just thinking about guys as far as the roster, dude. Like, when you get get another superstar on this team, sounds good on paper. It really does. But when shit hits the fan and you got to go to the playoffs and the egos collide, and just when we seen in the close games that they had this season, they still trying to figure out who's going to take the last shot.
Exactly.
And so it's like, look, you got two guys right now that can drive and kick. Especially with Luka in general. He's a willing passer.
And Kyrie showed that, hey, if I can close.
You have a closer. Like, this guy averaged double digits in 4-quarter points for the last few seasons. So that's shown. So now, get them guys around that can hit shots. Get them guys around them that can freaking rebound. You know what I'm saying? That can rebound and get second chance opportunities. You know what I'm saying? That you can just kick it back out and hit it.
And I'm seeing that Kyrie and Luka early, even in mid-season, when they really don't know too much about each other, didn't mind saying, hey, I can defer if I have to. And it's just more of this time now where they really get to talk to each other and say, oh, you know what, man? In your spots, you got this. In my spots, I got this. As long as we got that communication level, and when the season comes, we're ready. Like, hey, you doing your thing? Take
exactly, and that's growth.
Yeah.
And that's growth, because you have Luka where, of course, we get frustrated with him taking these step-back threes, especially when it's 10 or 5 seconds left in the game. I'm like, come on, bro. You please got to stop doing this.
Yeah.
We're not going to see that from him this season. I'm letting you know that now. You have another guy that can go to the basket, 90% free throw shooter also as well. And so you're going to see that.
Raw brew energy. We love that.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Raw Brew Energy in the
energy.
mix. Thank y'all so much. SportsCon 2023 here with Byron Moten, Mo Sports Talk. Let's go ahead and switch lanes, man.
Let's go.
We
Let's
gotta
get
talk about the big elephant in the room. But a team that you know where I'm going with this, where the window is.
I'm already grinning because
where the window is actually it's actually open. So the breeze is coming in at this point. How about them Cowboys, man? My man. What's up, my man? I just want to acknowledge my man. He's sitting there right now. What's your name?
My boy Shy Miller in the building. Uncool Urban Podcast, man.
Okay.
Check him out. I'm about to plug him right now.
Oh, go ahead.
Uncool Urban Podcast. Check him out. Shy Miller 13. The Uncool Urban on all social media networks. Now, you talking about some work putting in? This guy puts in work. Also, works for the Mavericks very, very well. Been knowing him for years. He was actually one of my interns that I had.
Okay.
Build himself up, show loyalty, show respect, show everything that needs to be shown when it comes to this business and media and broadcasting. And now he's doing his own thing, interviewing athletes, interviewing actors.
Yes,
please check his site out, man. I'm telling you, he's one. He's one of the guys. He's one of the guys, man, getting it in.
So the boys, they've done a lot of work. Faces have changed. Kellen Moore is out. Mike said I can call plays again for the first time in 80 years. Michael Parsons is the lion and is always hungry. They bought a new island known as Gilligan's Island, owned by Stephon Gilmore. Trayvon Diggs is coming up in contract talks. CeeDee Lamb contract talks. Zeke is gone. Even he may be floating around
Allegedly.
somewhere. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And in steps Tony Pollard. But everything ends and begins with number 4. The face has not changed at the quarterback position. Where are the Cowboys now? And you know what? Boss Cowboys and Law Nation, they came through here between yesterday and today. I'm going to give you the same scenario, Mo, and I want you to tell me where the Cowboys fit in with this.
Right.
The balance of power in the NFC has changed. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Tom Brady is allegedly retired.
Thank you. I'm glad you did that.
The NFC South is, I'm not sure what's exactly happening over there. The Detroit Lions are good again. But, everybody blinked, and all of a sudden the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, and everybody think they're the best thing since sliced bread. Sure. Where do the Cowboys fit in all of this going on right now? The scales are going to tip, but which way are they going?
Hold on, let me take my glasses off for this one.
Please do.
Look.
I'll do it with you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you joining the cause. The Cowboys are always going to be in the middle of the pack. That's how it's been for the last few years with Dak as quarterback, and right now that's how it's going to continue.
Right.
I love Dak as a person. I love him as a quarterback as well. I still feel like he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. But there are still signs of regression. Of course, coming back from injury, that does bother you mentally. But you can't have games that you're having, and then when it comes to the wild card round of the playoffs and things like that, then all of a sudden that you fizzle out. Yeah. Like, you can't really do that. Now, of course, you need your offensive line to stay healthy. You need your pieces. You need your defense to do what they need to do, which I feel like the defense won them a lot of games.
Yes.
A lot of games.
So, Bart, I got to ask you, what changes from Week 17 to the time that the wild card round and or divisional round starts? What changes for this team, and why is it so significant that it's not affecting the 49ers, that it's not affecting Philadelphia, that it's not affecting the Chiefs, that it's not affecting the Bills until they get to the championship round? But why the Cowboys seem to have such a dramatic drop-off from regular season into the postseason?
I'm glad you brought that up, and this is always going to be my answer. When you have an owner and a GM that's more of a seller, one of the biggest sellers in NFL history, in Jerry Jones, also with Steven, like, kind of low-key taking care of everything, they're always going to think about first more than anything.
Right.
And so when you have a football team where, of course, namesake, you look like they're going to do what they need to do, they're going to get things done. Also, you got to get out the past. You're stuck in the past, too. Your past is not going to give you wins towards the present and the future. And so when you see other teams like the 49ers, which beat them the last two seasons, you see the Philadelphia Eagles that are very, very aggressive in making moves. Very aggressive with making moves. You see the 49ers balancing everything out with their offense and defense. When you see the Cowboys, sounds good, sounds great on paper, but when your mindset is always on the owner more than a football team, it doesn't matter where they're going to go or how they're going to get. When you still get those same results, you know what I'm saying? You may get frustrated at the same time, but look at this. Fans are still showing up. Fans are still buying merch. You gotta make a sacrifice for a team like that. I love it here. Been a fan since '88, but those 90 days are over. You can't do this, dude. And so, like, how I feel about the situation right now with all the players that they have, I love it. They're great. But still, you gotta pay them. Players are getting old. Offensive line is getting old. Defense is good. I'm glad they made the moves against Stephon Gilmore. I wish it was a few years more. A few years more when he's in his 30s, but it is what it is with that. But also at the same time, when teams get better and they don't adjust, they're going to always stay in the middle of the pack. I wish all these players the best all the time. That's why when you get into this business, the fandom always have to leave from you.
Yeah.
Once we both start realizing what happens off the football field and who's really running the show and things like that, then we start, like, drifting away from that.
Yeah, my boys, they get mad at me a lot. They're like, man, you always hate on the Cowboys. So I said, no, I don't.
No, and that's the thing right there.
I said I'm a person of sports first, Cowboys fan second. I see, and I have to look at things that y'all don't. And so, and my dad really, he's been the reason that how I learned all my sports knowledge, especially on the football side. But he told me this a long time ago, back when Tony Romo was the quarterback and we went through 3 straight 8-8 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
He said, son, I understand your love for the Cowboys. I understand your love for all this stuff and everything that goes. He said, just mediocre. He said, and that's who they are. And I said, ever since then, I said, start looking at them for what they are. Have I liked what they've been doing the past couple seasons? Yeah, 12-5. You still lost to the 49, but at least they show me they can be consistent to be good. Mm-hmm. But they are middle of the pack.
And I was gonna be like that. It hurts when you hear that from somebody else.
Yeah.
But once you start watching
it's
it,
the
now,
wake-up call.
Once we start doing the stuff that we doing right now, a lot of people had to realize you got to take that fandom out.
Yes.
You have to stop watching the highlights and actually look at the games that's going on. Start paying attention to the coaches, assistant coaches, the front office. Because a lot of people are always saying, well, it starts on the field. Nah, it starts up there. It starts up there. Like I said, when you have an owner that's really more about selling more than anything, this is $1 billion team, dude.
Yes.
It's $1 billion team. They're going to make $1 billion every year.
Yes.
And also, like, they're selling you that hope and that dream of, oh, we're going to get back to those glory days. When you have an owner that's still trying to one-up and still holding a grudge, that's never going to happen for him. Karma is a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you seen what happened when Jimmy was gone?
Yeah, man.
Okay, they got that Super Bowl with Barry Switzer, right? Yeah. That wasn't his roster. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, man, they haven't went back. You gotta let that go, dude.
Yeah.
Stop still having that grudge of I'm gonna win one without him. You ain't did it in 25 years. Like you putting your son in charge of, you know, whatever the hell he's in charge in. That ain't working either. He's been around you since he was a kid when you've been doing this
Nothing's
shit.
Changed.
And so nothing's just gonna change. When you have them having their own radio segments. You know what I'm saying? You're talking to them more than the players and the coaches. You know what I'm saying? It's a bad deal all to begin with. So once that mindset change, which he's going to be there until he croaks. And then we know who's going to be next in line after that. And so once you know what's going to keep on happening with this shit, with this football team, they're going to be middle of the pack. They can be 12-5. They can do all this whatever that they have to do. But when it matters, because what Bill Parcells always tell you, all you got to do is just make the tournament.
So let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this last one.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
So I believe in Mike. Put my glasses on back.
Uh-oh.
I believe in Mike McCarthy. I think he's gonna do well. I think he's done well as our head coach when everybody was trying to sell him for Sean Payton. And I'm telling everybody they're the exact same coach. They both got one Super Bowl, and they both got the same amount of wins and playoff victories. Tell me the difference between Mike and Sean Payton. Nobody can do it. But how much of Mike's influence do you see as a good effect of it having on Dak? And what will it do wonders for this offense, at least for this season?
He can do wonders with his offense depending on what approach and attitude that he takes when it comes to him calling plays.
Yeah.
He does have the control now. That's good with him because I feel like that was one of the most success that he had for doing that. But also at the same time, you don't have an Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So that's totally different. You don't have, you know what I'm saying, you don't have the same monsters and the same players that you have when it comes to that. The roster that he has right now, offensively, I think is going to be pretty good with him. Long as you stay aggressive, don't get cute with the BS that we seen Killer Moore was doing in some games. Stay how you are. Show, you know what I'm saying? Show that attitude.
So here's what I believe. Well, with the Packers, players still got to be coached. So I start to a degree. Yeah, he had an Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron still had to be coached. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, is this God-given talent just so far above coaching that he doesn't need to be coached? And yeah, Mike's success was predicated off of what Aaron Rodgers did. I thought it was kind of more of a sense of both of them, but much less than a Bill Belichick, Tom Brady thing. I'm wrong though, you say? Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is a phenomenal quarterback.
Yes, he is, and we'll find out this year with the Chiefs.
Oh my God, that's gonna be. I'm sorry, that's gonna be hilarious to me. Him playing with them. But yeah, that dude falls on the fact of you having an incredible quarterback. So you kind of feel like you can kind of ride off of that for so long. But now you really have a test at hand. Which you got to realize, look, he's a fourth round draft pick quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you got to realize he was drafted in the fourth round for a reason, okay? And you see those faults when he goes on the field, which is unfortunate because he was kind of rushed in the starting position.
Yes, he was.
When Romo went down, then Kellen Moore broke his foot. And he's doing great. He's done great for himself. But now, as a coach right now, I think this gives Mike McCarthy the green light to really find out, like you said, can he coach?
Yeah.
You got an offensive coordinator, you still calling the plays. Cool. Now show me with this type of quarterback that you have that's not an Aaron Rodgers, can you coach this dude? Can you be aggressive with him? Can you talk to him? Can you curse him out? Can you make him change his attitude like you want to change on the football field? Because you can do all that hooting and hollering as a quarterback inside that huddling on that field. But if you don't have, like, you can't coach that dude and still let him do whatever the hell that he want. Also, him and Kellen Moore was already like this as
That's
it was.
true.
He ain't here no more. So with Mike showing that Pittsburgh attitude that he always had coming from Pennsylvania, talk shit to your quarterback. I know it probably sounds harsh. Talk shit to your quarterback. And I promise you, if I know that he's talking shit to that quarterback and you start seeing different things that you see from Dak, he's not in the pocket anymore that he used to be like. You see him scrambling more. He's not scared to take the hits because he's still thinking about those injuries. And he's throwing them downfield, being more aggressive, using your receivers. You know what I'm saying? Realizing that you got receivers that can catch in the backfield. All that is going to be from coaching. Listen to your coach. I ain't talking about the offensive coordinator and everybody, your quarterback coach. Listen to your head coach. Mike McCarthy, you have the green light on your quarterback. Be harsh on him. Talk shit to him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, this ain't Aaron Rodgers. Don't shy away from that. This is a different quarterback. Talk shit to your quarterback. And I guarantee you, when you talk shit to him and get to where you need to get to towards the playoffs, which I need to be seeing that done then, we will advance, and you will see a whole different mindset that it wasn't more of the quarterback than the head coach. As a head coach, you can put yourself up there and tell you, I coach my quarterback to get to the Super Bowl and win another Super Bowl.
Final question. Where do the boys finish? Where do you see them finishing at this year? Give me your honest answer.
This may be another time where we see two NFC East teams win a division again. Like, I mean, hate the Eagles. That's my brother's team. He gonna be watching this. You know I'm gonna talk shit about him. But
I think they lost two coordinators. I can't see them bouncing back. Like
you know what I'm saying? But I still see the Cowboys.
They're gonna be good, though.
I ain't worried. Because they know when to be good.
Yeah.
They know. They already got the game plan down with that. And so they will win this division again. I don't care about that. More power to them.
Yeah. Just get to the playoffs.
I'm looking dead in the camera. My eyes big. My glasses still off. Win playoff games. Not one playoff game. Win playoff games. Don't let this little bye week that y'all getting. I'm sick of that shit, okay?
Yeah.
Cool, I'm cool. Y'all got a week of rest. I get that. Fine, whatever. We done been through that already with the Romo era. Look, don't take this 1 week off for granted. You got players that's hungry than you, lower seeds than you. Beat these damn teams. Stay mental. Stay aggressive. Stop this conservative crap. You got Mike McCarthy running the offense now. I know he's going to get to that mindset. You won a Super Bowl, bro. You know what to do. Even when he won that Super Bowl, they had 12, like damn near almost 12 starters hurt. Half of them was hurt. They still won a Super Bowl in Dallas, by the way.
Yes.
So they're going to win the division. I'm calling that right now. Just win some playoff games. To me, then I feel like that's a successful season. If they win a Super Bowl, I'm going to be highly surprised. As a fan, we always want to see that happen. But realistically speaking, win a playoff game, at least get to the championship game. Right now is NFC championship game of bust. That's what I want to see from them, and that's my outcome for them for this season.
Y'all just got the most in-depth sports talk that I could have possibly brought y'all at 2023 SportsCon. Byron Moten, man, Mo Sports Talk. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on all social media platforms at Mo Sports Talk. That's all one word. Mo Sports Talk, MOSPORTSTALK. Also follow my other page, which is BMO Sports 214. Catch us on all social media platforms and also subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Tony, this is more about you. I'm cool. I'm okay. Love what you're doing. I love this. Fucking table is amazing. Glad that we finally run into each other. It's long overdue. It's not about me, bro. It's really not about me. I appreciate it, but I'm going to stay humble with this. This is amazing. This guy is amazing. Been knowing him, through social media for years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He been having my back through all this time, and the same way. Love this guy, man. Y'all keep on tuning in to Spot On Sports. Tune in to Spot On Sports. Keep tuning in because this guy is fucking amazing. Dude's a boss. Dude's a real boss, man, running the show.
I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? He got this, man. This is not about me today. It's about him. It's always going to be about him until after this episode is over, man. I'm proud of every fucking thing that you've been doing. Man. I'm cursing now. I'm proud of all this shit, okay?
Bro, do you?
All this is amazing, man.
To receive all of that.
You got to, look, I had to learn the same thing, too. Receive all the love and feedback and learn how to say no. I'm going to tell you about that off air. I'm gonna tell you a lot of stuff about that off air. But shout out to Tony, man. Spot On Sports. Keep tuning in. This guy's amazing. You know what I'm saying? He got some amazing things going on. Great team. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it tuned in on him, man. Follow him ASAP. Keep following him. God's gonna do amazing things in the future, man.
Thank you so much. It is the new wave of sports that is sweeping the nation. Where we are not just accurate. Byron Moten is spot on. And I know he said that, but that's just, man, I got to give it to you. That's spot on.
He said
man.
it. He said it. That's just like watching a good movie. They say the movie title in the movie.
I'm telling you, man. I told y'all this wasn't an interview. This is a segment, goddammit. Comment, rate, subscribe, drop us a like. Both of us, we greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. You will see more of Byron. Stay tuned to what both of us are doing. It's coming to you.